everybody, welcome to our final video for our top 50 board games. This is our top 10.
Top 10!
Woo! I'm super excited. And let's just jump in. Lewis, you're going to start us off. What is your number 10?
My number 10 is Sushi Go Party.
Hey!
I think for a simple drafting game, Sushi Go is really just quick and fun, easy to play. It's the kind of game that if I have 15 minutes and you say, let's play, I'm like, sure. But Sushi Go Party takes it that one little step extra where you can change up the types of cards that are being used in the deck and create a very different feel. Still within that 15 minutes, and just what a great game. I don't think there's a better priced game out there. I think it's too good of a game for the amount that they're asking. So, yeah. I mean, it's one of those games that I just think is a bargain, and it's tons of fun. It's
tons of fun. I totally agree. I think your ranking of it in the top 10 is a little surprising, but well earned. I mean, it made my top 50 list, but I think
it's a bit simplistic for what you might think I'd like. But I love it.
It's great. It's fun. Like, it's okay to have a more of a straightforward game versus Feast for Odin. I mean, like, that's it's hard to compare, but yeah.
Yeah, nice. I love it. Nice. All right, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is, speaking of big games, Shogun.
Ooh.
Shogun, more so than Wallenstein, but Shogun is a war game, a battle game. You are using these territories. Everyone starts with different territories on the island, and you are using them to garner all sorts of resources and special things, but mostly you're trying to work the land to expand and to get more and more stuff and to move your armies into neighboring places. And the cool thing about Shogun is there's a cube tower. And so cubes might get stuck. They might knock out other cubes. Farmers might come to the defense of the neighboring territory you're trying to invade, which is bad for you. I love the way cards are placed for actions, and you do them in a very specific order. And so if someone takes a territory and you've got that card later, they take it from you before you get to use it. It's just the neatest game. You've never played a game like Shogun.
Shogun and Wallenstein are both really cool games. This is a heavy game system. It burns my brain up when I'm trying to figure out, like, who's gathering rice and how am I defending this, and I need some money, and just trying to figure it all out.
And you're building temples and different buildings that give you victory points, but if you lose the territory, that makes that place a little bit more enticing for other people to come and take.
And then after all that, you take up your armies, which are just cubes, and you drop them in this tower to see who gets killed and who survives. It's really a cool system.
It's a neat system.
My number 9. I would say that this, for the longest time, for decades, people have asked me what's my favorite game, and I have told them this game.
Ooh.
Honestly, over the years, I've had to move it down my list because just better games and better systems have come out. This is a game that was invented like back in 1980 or something. And the most recent version, which is the name I have here, is called Mega Civilization.
Okay.
You can also find it under Western Empires or Civilization or Advanced Civilization. This game is epic. It's huge. The Mega Civilization, if you've got the space, you can play up to 17 players, and a game can last. They say it's basically count your number of players and add 1, and that's how many hours you'll be playing if you play a full game. I think it's just an amazing game. It's the game that got me into gaming. All of this behind us is because of Civilization. So ultimately, it's a game that's near and dear to my heart. I think the system is generally pretty good. It is problematic in that if you get too far behind, it's hard to catch up. And when you're playing a game that's 8 hours long, and you realize at hour 4 that you're probably going to lose, that can be disheartening. And so that's one reason it's not my number 1. But I love the game.
Yep.
Kim doesn't even know the game.
I think that's a great pick.
Thanks.
So my number 9 is...
Sorry.
So my number 9 is Quacks of Quedlinberg.
Good
And I
choice.
know that Lewis already selected that for an earlier pick, I guess later pick down the list. But I think this game is a wonderful press your luck, and I do enjoy the drawing from a bag. If there's a bag of any kind, I think that's just so exciting. And I love that you get to build your own ingredients, and every time there's a new round, I like the version where you draw event cards and then you get cool things, and people get bonuses if they are the furthest ahead at the end of a round. There's just so many cool things. You're like, ooh, bonus, ooh, neat, you know, and then everyone else behind is like, I get rat points, you know? And so rat points is good points, but it's just, it's a great game. And I love the little pieces that we got for the expansion.
It's so fun.
It's great.
But if you do like the game, think about the pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Number
good choice.
8.
Number 8 for me is Seven Wonders Duel.
Oh.
Now, Seven Wonders is a great game. It's not on my top 50, but it's a great game. But Seven Wonders Duel is so good.
It's good.
I don't know that I've ever seen a game where they made like another version of it for only 2 players and made a better game. It's bananas to me that that's what happened. But Seven Wonders Duel, you've got cards laid out in a tableau. Some are face down, some are face up. On your turn, you'll take a card and you just play them out, trying to develop different things in front of you, whether they're technologies or war cards to move you on this war track. And there's fun expansions to it, but I think it's a great 2-player game. And we play a lot of 2-player games. Seven Wonders Duel is one of those where I think this is it's fun, but it's well designed.
And you can win in a multitude of ways, so you have to keep your eye on your opponent that they don't win military with the push and pull of the military track, or that they don't win with all of their green tokens or like science.
Right.
You know, or that it's really cool and clever and neat, and I regret not thinking of Seven Wonders or Seven Wonders Duel. Honestly, those didn't cross my mind, and I think that's fantastic to hear it in your top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah, I really like that. So my
Number 8
is a little game that, I say a little because it's in a smaller than large box for a game of its size. Kaigan. Kaigan is a game where you have there are 2 different boards essentially. One board is where players are going to place out cards. Everyone has the same action cards, and you play them out into a grid. Ultimately, everyone will then draft a row. So they'll say, I'll take this top row and all of these things. I'll take this row and take all of those things. So you might be activating the same action played by 2 different players, because you don't take your cards. You take a row where cards are played. And then those actions help you do things on the map. And the map is where you place workers, and you also get bonuses on tracks that move you up on things. It's just so creative and unique and fun, and it's just a wonderful theme.
I think Kaigan is the most underrated game out there, probably because the one map is a paper map. It's
like a poster board.
It's like someone just took a poster. It's so developed that it, I think, turned people off. They saw it and went, that's not very nice. And it's not. If it had a better board, oh, please have a better board someday. But it's such a cool game.
It's a really cool game.
So underrated.
It's
Nobody
cool.
talks about it, and it does need to be talked about.
Yeah.
My number 7 is a game called Terraforming Mars.
Oh my.
We did a little Terraforming Mars video on this channel where we played all the expansions. And Terraforming Mars is a cool game. Every time I play it, I have a good time. I get crushed every time. And I do work really hard to do well. I do.
You do!
I work so hard, and then the final score comes out, and somehow I've lost again. But I love Terraforming Mars. I love figuring out which cards to keep, playing them in the right order to make the best moves, getting things out on the map.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
It's so fun. It's a really great game.
Yep. What's your number 7, Kim?
My number 7 is a game that I love. It's called Discoveries.
Oh.
I love it so much
She does.
it's just, I don't know, like, you've got your dice, and you roll your dice, and they give you symbols, and your symbols are going to be placed on, you have base actions that you start with and everyone starts with, but after a certain amount of time, you're going to be building cards that may give you other kinds of actions and better actions with like fewer amounts of dice. And you are building these, you're going on routes, and then once you finish a route, you bank it, and then you get those points, and you might get animal points, and you might get like these domino like cascading turns.
She gets the cascading turns. I never can seem to work it out.
And it's just a neat theme. It's a wonderful theme of Lewis and Clark and all of the terms, the animals, the plants, the natives. It's all just so rooted in the Pacific Northwest, and I really like that too. Yeah, it's great.
That's the game that every time I play it, I think this is a really good game, but I'm not good at it at all. At all, and you love it so much. I mean, boy, I'll tell you, that's a game that Kimberly loves. My number 6 is Roll for the Galaxy. Now, do you like Roll for the Galaxy? No?
I do. I do like Roll for the Galaxy.
Roll for the Galaxy is a game that is based on that Puerto Rico system where there are different actions and one person will pick an action and then everyone else will follow, but the person that picks it gets the best thing. You'll roll dice behind a screen and you're trying to purchase different worlds to make your area better and they give you special powers and so forth. Roll for the Galaxy does have a small learning curve. I'd say 2 or 3 games before you really feel comfortable with it. But once you get past those 2 or 3 games, we played it as a 2-player game dozens of times. And again, we would just plow right through it and have a great time every time.
I agree. And I was so addicted during that time that when he wouldn't play a 2-player game, I came downstairs and played by myself. And you can't play the game by yourself, but I just did. I just rolled and just had fun and like made up a fake other player. It might show up later. So my number 6 is Rajas of the Ganges. I'm getting into the games where all I want to say is, I really like these games so much. But in this one, there's this real, like, really tight, fine line between having the dice to do the actions you want to do and getting the dice to do the actions that you want to do. Like, you like play one, but then you're running out of dice, and to get dice, you have to do other actions, and there's so many places to go. You can go down the river and get really cool river actions. You can transmute dice, so if you have one, you can trade it out, and you can get other colored dice. But you can go and get items and sell items in the market. But of course, if someone's going in front of you, they can take the position and then you can't go there. Ooh-wee, I really like this. The point system, you've got those victory points that are kind of like twice the size of a coin. And you've got this track, and it's the first player to get their markers to cross each other.
It's a cool system.
It's a really neat scoring system. Cool system. Yeah.
Good game. Very good game. My number 5 is a deck builder called Aeon's End. I'm not putting the legacy on this one. I think Aeon's End as a system is fantastic. Yeah. I just really love it. I love that it's cooperative. I love that you work against a monster, and there's tons of different monsters available. There's so many expansions and so many versions. And I love that you don't shuffle the deck, that you flip it over. We've talked a little about that in a previous video, but Aeon's End works for me. If I'm going to play a deck builder, that's probably my deck builder of choice. All right, thank you. Oh, the dog stopped barking. What's your number 5, Kim?
So my number 5 is a game that Lewis had on his top 50, and I was really surprised by. Maybe not really surprised, but surprised because I do enjoy it a lot. Maybe more so than he does. It's always perfect. All the top 10s of mine are perfect games. I think Obsession is a wonderful, wonderful game, and we just got some of the expansions, and we've been trying those out and playing with them and feeling out their dynamic. But the base game just in and of itself is so good and interesting and really thematic, and I like that. I like that a lot.
You can check out Kim's video on Obsession. She kind of explains the basics of it. But I will say, because you don't have a video on this, the expansion Upstairs Downstairs, really good. Really good. I mean, the base game is solid.
Yes.
With the expansion.
That's coming, by the way.
Oh, it's also really good.
Along with some solo play, so I can tell you about the solo.
Great game.
What about your number 4?
My number 4 is Pandemic Legacy. Now, I think all the Pandemics are fantastic. It's a great system. The Legacy games, for me, they take it up that notch where it becomes a story, where every game matters, where you really feel it, the anxiety. We're almost through, we've played Season 1 and Season 2, we're almost through Season 0, and I have to tell you, we have just had so much fun with those games.
Yeah.
When we played Season 1, I thought it was the game of the year, certainly the experience of the year, and it's made Legacy games into a thing, and rightly so. So the Pandemic games, but the Pandemic Legacy games, fantastic. Love them to death.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting, the choices. I think by now everyone probably knows how Pandemic works in general, but the Legacy does offer a new experience that is from game to game and how it changes and evolves and grows with the players. So yeah, really cool experiences. My number 4 is a game that I love as much as it's ugly. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but the game is Ethnos. Ethnos is not an appealing looking game, but it's perfect in gameplay. And I think there's just something wonderful about the game, and much like some of the other games that Lewis and I have talked about, we can knock out a game of Ethnos in no time, and it's super fun. Even though it's 2, we still like playing it when there's 3, when there's up to, I think 5 is the max player for it. It's just so dynamic, and your turns are so fast. You take a card, or you play a set of creatures. That's it.
Yep.
And the set of creatures can be either the same color, or it can be the same type of creature. And then you do the words that it says. Yeah. It's so easy. And you play on the board for area control, for victory points.
And you know, it's
great.
It's the kind of game that if you have 4 players or 5 players, you're having a good time. But surprisingly, it works really well with 2 players. I don't think it was meant as a 2-player game, but we play it as a 2-player game and have so much fun. I mean, it works really well as a 3 and 4. But boy, we have a great time with it as a 2-player.
Fantastic.
My number 3.
Getting down to it.
We are top 3. Memoir 44. This is a 2-player game, although you can have a team thing going on, but this is a 2-player game that Kim and I played a ton of when we first met, and I loved every minute. I got crushed. I was always the Germans, she was always the Allies, and I don't think the Germans are weaker than the Allies, but somehow I lost every game we played. I think we played like 11 games in a row that I lost. I love it. It's such a good system. It's the command and color system where you're moving groups, and then depending on how big the group is how many hit points they have left, and there's just all these little battles that you can play out and try different things, try different sides. Brilliant system. I don't usually enjoy combat in games if I feel like it's getting in the way of doing something fun. This game is all combat.
Yeah, there's nothing, you can't avoid combat, like you have to do combat.
But I love it.
But it's good.
I love it,
it is.
So much.
It is.
It's not a heavy war game, but it's a fun war game, and you can knock out a battle in an hour, which is really cool. Yeah, it's really good. It's super. What's your number 3? My number 3 is Roll for the Galaxy. Like I said, I was really obsessed with it, and I really like it. I think I know your top 3. You do not. I do now. Do not. Oh, well, of course, it's the only ones left. It's the only ones left. Oh, how can you? Okay. You like Roll for the Galaxy, I like Roll for the Galaxy. I like just the dice building nature of it and building the cards. It's just wonderful.
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I mean, you already said it. She loves it so much that if I won't play with her, she comes down and plays by herself. I'm sure there's a solitaire version, like you could find a solitaire way, but
I just play like it's you and me.
I'll play all of the people.
And I'll roll the die randomly to see what the other action is that I can do that you would have chosen on your turn. I know, it's so dumb because it doesn't even make any sense. No, it's great. It's great, yeah.
It's in my top. That's not my number 6, so we're pretty close on that.
We're pretty close. Well, that means that we're maybe not going to ever have one that matches.
No, we're not. Because my number 2, you've already said. Yeah? Gloomhaven.
Oh.
I had so much fun this summer playing Gloomhaven. I loved Jaws of the Lion.
You looked at me so funny when I said Gloomhaven. I thought you were shocked that I liked it, but you were just waiting for yours.
Oh, I was shocked that it was so low at 19 that you don't even like it enough to make it number 2. I love Gloomhaven.
It was 14. 19. It was 14.
I love the system. And there is a solution to the problem. Gloomhaven has a major problem, which is that giant box is packed to the rim with stuff. And if you have to unpack it, it's too much. But if you get
the inserts.
You can buy these inserts.
Yeah.
And that organizes your game so that when you're like, hey, let's play Gloomhaven, you just pull out the pieces. Yeah. There's the cards. You're set up within 5 minutes and playing a game. It's so much fun.
It's great.
And it's a shame that you can not play because it's just overwhelming, and so that solves that problem.
It does.
And I highly recommend, if you want to love Gloomhaven, you've got to be able to play it multiple times and quickly. So that's the solution.
Yeah, Gloomhaven is a wonderful pick.
Oh, and Frosthaven. Yes, oh, I'm so excited.
Really, really excited for Frosthaven.
Probably too excited. I'll probably be disappointed because you can't be this excited.
No, there's some really cool new things that Frosthaven offers that lets you also do the same stuff from Gloomhaven. So I think we're going to really enjoy it.
Good stuff.
So my number 2, this is not fun anymore because he knows what they are. My number 2 is Terraforming Mars.
What? Okay, I guess we can go with that.
Yeah, I love Terraforming Mars, and I think I only said like one thing when you mentioned the game, and I'll kind of let that stand. But getting your cards and picking what you want to do in the very beginning, there's like a whole 20 or 30 minutes like before the game starts if you want to add prelude and you want to add some of these other things where you're selecting your corporation, you're getting your opening hand of cards, you're getting the money, you're setting everything up, you're getting the prelude cards, which gives you like a jump start into money and resources and abilities, and then the game starts and it's just like, oh, and you always have so many things to do. You want to do this and this and this, and you're going to get cards, and you want to be the first to get the bonuses at the bottom. Don't ever forget about those bonus tracks of getting like the most, like you get the trees out, or you get the 10 cards. Oh my gosh, it's just the greatest game minus my number 1 game. This is a great game. Terraforming Mars.
All right, are we ready for it?
Number 1!
Number 1. Can you guess my number 1? You should. You should be able to guess it. Uh-oh.
I haven't been thinking that hard.
Uh-oh. Well, you said it recently.
I think your number 1 is Shogun.
No.
What?
Shogun's fantastic.
Shogun didn't make your list at all.
It didn't make my list.
Oh my gosh.
I love Shogun.
Oh.
My number 1 is a game that I didn't like at first. I thought it was fine. I didn't hate it, I just didn't necessarily like it. But for some reason, we played it 2-3 times, and somewhere in that 3rd or 4th time, something clicked for me, and I went, oh, this is the best game ever made. And I have loved playing it ever since. Have you figured it out yet?
No, I haven't. Oh my gosh, I'm the worst.
You're going to know it.
I'm going to know it.
It's Ethnos.
Oh, it's Ethnos!
Of course it's Ethnos.
I thought, oh my gosh.
Of course it's Ethnos. I love Ethnos. You're right, it's an ugly board, doesn't matter.
Who cares?
The way it works where you take certain races or species and you shuffle them into a deck, and then on your turn you draw one, or on your turn you play a group out and then get to do stuff on the board.
And
so good.
When you play a group, whatever's left in your hand has to go to the discard pile.
You have to discard it.
And there's all these display. And so you also have choices like, do I want to give my opponents the opportunity to take one of my cool cards that I didn't get to play? And so you can only collect up to 10 cards on your turn before you have to play them down.
Now, Ethnos wouldn't be my #1 game if it was only good for 4 players, which I think is what it was intended for. But when I discovered that with 2 players, you and I were able to just we'd play a game in 25 minutes. Like, we would crush it. And it was fun.
And we always randomize our creatures so that we never know what combination we're going to get. And the thing that's great about Ethnos is it's always replayable because you don't know what combinations you're going to get. If you're going to have like centaurs and what else?
Giants.
Yeah.
Merfolk.
I know. Ooh, Merfolk. Oh,
so there's so much going on there. I just adore the game.
It's a great game.
That's it.
It's a great game. Ethnos was #4 for me, so it wasn't that far ago. It was in this video, and I still couldn't think of it. Oh my gosh. I knew it. I should have. I just thought we'd already done yours.
So what's your favorite game, Kim? What's your #1 game?
My #1 favorite game of all time has been my favorite game for kind of a long time, which I know that's why you're not surprised. But the Castles of Burgundy
Castles of Burgundy
is just a fantastic game. One that is very easily replayable, and I just love. I love that there are different maps you can play on too. We have so many different combinations of where all the different things are on your personal board. Again, when I said this with Lewis, the dice rolling, you roll 2 dice, and those are your 2 actions for your turn. That's all you get. You get to do 2 things. That's cool.
Well, and you're famous for only rolling ones.
But if you roll ones, ones can go places.
Yeah, so
and ones can sell goods, and ones can do stuff. And so, if you don't always roll high numbers, or you think you don't roll high numbers, we don't know. I think I'm roll low. Then this is okay. And there's just some really great stuff here. I love all the different things the buildings do to activate. I love that every time you get closer to the end in the 5 rounds, the bonuses you get for finishing an area depreciate. So you want to finish areas soon for those 10 points in round A, or like in the first round. Oh, I just love it. I love it so much. It's great. It's great. It's a great game. It's
Those
perfect.
are some good picks. Your top 10's pretty... I've noticed as we went through our top 50, and we hadn't compared beforehand, that we had a lot of the same games on our list. And I think that's probably to be expected. But we've played games for a long time, and I think when a game really clicks for both of us, then it gets a little more love.
It probably does. And there are plenty of games, I think, if we got down to our 51 to 100, we might start seeing a little bit more diversity, because that's where we get to enjoy and appreciate games that maybe the other one doesn't. It doesn't have that same overlap that I think with our top 50. But yeah, we do tend to like similar games.
Who knows? Maybe if people like this video, next year we could do 100 games.
Yeah, we could update the 50 and add 50 more. Are you ready for 100 games?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready.
You're ready.
It's a lot of games.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and for liking and commenting on these videos all along the way. It really helps, and it also lets me know what you like and what you like to play.
Yeah, so you should tell us what your top games are. We'd love to see, lists, and maybe you've got some suggestions for things out there that we need to be trying.
Yeah, so put that in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.